let us all do we can to build a better future. There's a little bit of a quandary with corporate media. So it's fair to point out that when Fox News, especially during the Obama administration, they were saying, hey, we need a man's man president. We need somebody who's a real man's man to be our president, someone who's tough and speaks their mind. They kind of helped contribute to the creation of the Frankenstein that is known as Trump. But we can never forget that Fox News really never did the heavy lifting to really promote Trump because they had help. And Fox News, whether they will admit it or not, CBS, CNN, ABC, NBC, they kept on giving Trump and his empty podium free press. That's a lot of free press. He got a lot of it. And the media never challenged him. And when Trump was elected, he was really good for their ratings. I think a lot of us need to remember that Trump was really good for corporate media. To quote former head of CBS, Les Nunez, he said, what Trump is saying is bad for America, but good for CBS. And now that the orange boogeyman is gone, oh, they have that Cheeto powder craving. I mean, they got the shakes.
They need a new Trump.
They got the tremors. They need him. They need something. So they're going to try something else. Now, there's a good possibility that Trump's going to run in 2024, but they need something. They need to make the fear. They need people to come back because CNN's ratings are going on down. So what's the next best thing? Make a brand new Trump.
Yeah.
If you don't believe me, check out this wonderful video that I got for a link from RT America. Check it out. FaZe, let's play that video because everyone, hold on to your seats. We're going to find out who the brand new Trump is. CNN is desperate. This is pathetic.
Place your bets.
Carlson is the new Donald Trump.
Oh, okay.
Tucker has taken Trump's place as a right-wing leader, as an outrage generator, as a fire starter. And it's all happening on Fox, just like Trump's campaign did. Which means Rupert and Lachlan Murdoch are ultimately responsible. I mean, think about all the ways these two men are similar. Every day, Carlson is throwing bombs, making online memes, offending millions of people, also delighting millions of others, tapping into white male rage and resentment, stoking distrust of big tech and the media, generally coarsening the discourse, never apologizing for anything, and setting the GOP's agenda. Sounds like a recently retired president, right? Even before the 2020 election, there was informed speculation about Carlson as a 2024 candidate. Of course, some of Carlson's detractors say, he's just a troll, he's just really good at ticking people off. But isn't that what they said about Trump for years?
Pathetic.
Yes, Tucker is known to critique Trump and the Republican Party from time to time. This time last year, he was at Mar-a-Lago trying to convince Trump to take COVID more seriously. But Tucker tells the same conspiratorial us versus them story that Trump told. The same they're out to get you story that Trump told for years. It's the paranoid style in American politics all over again. And Tucker now soaks up some of the same social media fury that Trump did. He stokes the same debates that Trump did. And it raises the same predicament that Trump raised 5 or 6 years ago.
On a debate
Whether
stage.
and how to cover his claims.
He forced me to
here's
shave
just
my
some of
head.
what Tucker did in a single week this past week. He said pregnant service members are a mockery to the U.S. military and claimed the U.S. has a national masculinity crisis. And when military officials rebuked his comments, he flipped out and doubled down. Tucker also spent an entire segment berating a New York Times reporter because she had the audacity to call out online harassment. And then he blasted the Times for defending her. He tried to rewrite history about George Floyd's death and said American leaders used Floyd to enshrine, quote, open racism in nearly all of our institutions. And he mocked Meghan Markle and he defended Piers Morgan, et cetera, et cetera. The list goes on. And it all is because of these individuals on screen. What Tucker wants is attention. What Rupert Murdoch and Lachlan Murdoch want for him is attention. As this headline put it, Tucker is the post-Trump MAGA champion, firmly supplanting Sean Hannity at this point as the #1 star on Fox News, with ratings far ahead of anyone else on Fox.
Seems like you're jealous.
And by the way, other shows re-air his comments all day long. Fox News is increasingly the Tucker Carlson channel, and the Murdochs recently cut a deal with Tucker to expand his profile on Fox's streaming service too. It's ultimately all about the Murdochs and what they want, how they're going to keep the profits flowing by giving the viewers more and more radicalized content, led by Tucker Carlson.
Wow. Wasn't that pathetic?
So
Daniel, go ahead.
Just real quick before we start, because I know we live in an era where we have to say this, even though we really shouldn't have to, because it should be obvious. We don't like Tucker at all.
Nope.
He's a bit of a freak, and he shouldn't be on air. Anyway, now to our main story. Go ahead.
So, first of all, look, there's a lot of things I disagree with Tucker Carlson. But I do want to point out he's had a lot of prominent progressives on the show. Jimmy Dore, Dr. Cornel West, former Representative Tulsi Gabbard, and so many more. Now, he didn't have to do that, but he gave them a platform. He heard them out. It wasn't too long ago. He actually agreed with Cornel West, Jimmy Dore, and Tulsi Gabbard on a lot of issues. He said, hey, you changed my mind on this. Even changed his mind about a certain whistleblower. Again, minor details. But the point is, I want to focus on that CNN anchor. Number one, it sounds like you're jealous that Tucker Carlson is, the number one guy at Fox News. Seems like you want to be the number one guy at CNN. Two, here, Daniel, proof that he's actually going to run in 2024? Now, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't care what Tucker Carlson does. But you're trying to make him into something that you really want him to be. Trump 2.0. Because apparently corporate media is stuck in the drug that is Trump. Because he was so good for their ratings. And now that they got old man Biden in the office, he's not as entertaining, not as catchy. And now, I mean, you can't look up Trump's tweets anymore. Trump is just there. He said he's happier now he's not on Twitter. Now, who knows? Maybe if Trump runs in 2024, he's walking down the escalator with a joint in his hand saying, hey, everyone, I was out of pocket in 2020. But again, I digress. You know what? The point is, this is pathetic on how corporate media is trying to stir up fear again.
They're trying to make money.
They're trying to make money, and they're trying to give everyone not Trump derangement syndrome, but now Tucker derangement syndrome. Now, again, there's a lot of issues that I disagree with Tucker Carlson, but this is like a smeared piece, a hit job. And even if he does run in 2024, I mean, okay, fine. Then your job as a media outlet is to call out his hypocrisy, call out the issues that he stands for, and hold him accountable. But oh, wait, MSNBC, CNN, ABC, and CBS never did that with Trump. I remember when Joe Scarborough, Morning Joe, he was jumping up and down like a horny kangaroo just to be part of Trump's administration. Rewind back the clocks. You'll see that he was giving him a tongue bath. There you go. I stole that line from you, Jimmy Dore. Sorry about that. But this is the truth on how pathetic corporate media is starting to get. You are trying to create a false controversy right now and not looking at the bigger picture, which is people are still being evicted from their homes. We don't have Medicare for all. We're still dealing with a pandemic. We have a crumbling infrastructure. We're still stuck in regime change wars. We don't have affordable college. We're not doing anything about student debt forgiveness, but they want to focus on one individual, Tucker Carlson. Yeah. Tucker. That's all they're going to talk about. And if they keep on building him up, well, hey, CNN, it's not Fox that's giving him the free press. It's you that's giving him the free press. It's you that might be giving him the idea. But another thing, too, that's crossing my mind that might make him different than Trump. And again, hypothetical scenario. I don't vote Democrat or Republican, but it would be interesting to hear Tucker Carlson's point of view on whistleblowers, whether he'll follow through with it or not, whether that's his policy to protect at least two individuals that he said, should come home because of YouTube censorship. I can't say their names because YouTube likes to demonetize and deplatform people who do. Tucker Carlson has also been convinced, like, hey, we got to stop regime change wars. He, also kind of was on board of the fact that, hey, look, let's look at Medicare for all. Let's look at these issues. No, he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to talk to Tulsi, Jimmy, or Dr. Cornel West, but he did. And that's something that we should bring up. But has CNN done that? No.
Here's the thing that gets me on this, is that all propagandists, in my eyes, look the same. So on CNN, you have a network that just tried to basically push the presidency, let's even go that far, of one Andrew Cuomo, who is now in a terrible position. Remember, they did this entire push after the nursing home stories came out that we've been referring to for about half a year. And even today, the only thing that they're talking about with the nursing home stories with Cuomo is like him miscounting numbers. That's the most that they're willing to hit him on when he directly contributed to having 15,000 people die. That's a thing that I think is sort of important because CNN pushed him. They did the fireside chats, and there was definitely no nepotism involved. Oh, right. A brother on a TV show and a brother that's a governor worked together to make all this happen. So CNN, you need to reflect on yourself. Just not even saying anything else. Just CNN. Like, go to rehab. I don't know what you need.
They got the
but
drug.
You need something. Maybe, and you need to not need as much money. That's really what it comes down to. You got to stop being so damn greedy. Then you have MSNBC with, Okay, so when the Iraq War was happening, they were owned by the largest defense contractor, GE, and they fired every single actor. That actually
Anchor. Anchor.
Is there really a
Anchor.
difference anymore? Am I really being inaccurate by making a mistake? Or is it just a Freudian slip? They kicked everyone out that was not for the Iraq War. That's something that killed thousands of people. And then recently, they single-handedly pushed the idea of Russiagate, which was no different from the Benghazi hearings. It went nowhere. It accomplished nothing. But a lot of people, no, that's not true. A few people made a lot of money, especially one, Rachel Maddow. So, with all that said, is Tucker a really bad person in my book? Yeah. Does he have pretty strong white supremacist leanings? Yeah. Is he really that different in effect from all the other networks just because he might be malicious and they're not? Not in my book. I care about the outcomes. He causes damage to America. CNN causes damage to America. The only difference is more people watch him, which is why they're fighting.
One other thing too, I want to bring this up because again, this whole idea of making Tucker Carlson into Trump 2.0, I think it's really pathetic. It says just how desperate CNN is to get attention, and again, you know, with that free press that CNN just gave Tucker Carlson, which is what it was. It was a big boost for Tucker Carlson because now more people are going to be looking into who he is because that's how this works.
Yeah.
I have to say, Tucker doesn't care. He won't care. It's similar to
this is like the beauty industry on YouTube. It's just as stupid and just as cutthroat.
Yeah, but one thing too, I want to shout out one of our viewers, Edward Klein, who said CNN, MSNBC, TYT tried the same thing with Marjorie Taylor Greene, calling her the next Trump. And the thing is, like, why is it now that we have corporate media that's trying to stir up another controversy? So, you know, hey, wouldn't it be funny, though, we go into 2024 and Tucker Carlson does not run at all? Hey, corporate media got it wrong again. Similar to like how corporate media said.
Why wouldn't he just stay on TV where he's making a lot of money?
Yeah, where he has more power. I mean, that's the truth. He will have more power just to stay on TV. Another thing, too, remember how corporate media said that Tulsi Gabbard was an Assad puppet, Modi puppet, Putin puppet, and how she was going to run as a Republican or run as third party? Oh, wait, no, she didn't. She resigned in Congress, and now she has her own podcast. So, hey, corporate media, maybe you don't have, especially you, CNN, maybe you don't have the pulse of the nation because you might be way off, especially going to 2024. This is hilarious. It shows how pathetic you are and the fact that you're willing to boost up anyone to make sure that people tune into you because you miss Trump. Let's face it, CNN misses Trump because Trump was that abusive ex, but they secretly loved it.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the other thing. It's CNN's upset because their ratings suck now. That's how these companies work at this point. They don't really care about giving you stories or talking about topics that make any sense. They just want to make sure that they make their ratings so they can keep making their paychecks. And they're really upset that Tucker's doing so well. And that now they're morphing it into, hey, we had this model that we built with Trump. Because remember, when Obama was president, with the exception of Fox, CNN and MSN were losing profitability. Trump came in, they all of a sudden had profitability. Trump's gone. They're all of a sudden losing profitability again. This is not, even if everything they were saying was true, their motive is for money.
Yep, exactly.